Hey everybody, this is Joanna. I'm Joanna Lindenbaum, and I am really excited for this Advanced Skills Facebook Live that's all about deep listening. I've really been looking forward to doing this live. Hopefully it'll be 15-20 minutes. For those of you that know me, you know I like to talk a lot, so hopefully it won't be longer than that. But thank you for being here. Hopefully we'll have a quiet time while I share these tips and tools with you. I'm supposed to have a sofa delivered, but not for another hour. I'm hoping they won't show up during the live. So hi Anna, hi Maura, it's so good to see you guys. Hi Harshada, hi Carrie Ann. So if you don't yet know me, let me just tell you in 2 sentences who I am and what I'm about. So I'm on a mission to revolutionize the coaching, healing, and transformational industries by raising the bar on the quality of work that we deliver and our skill as practitioners so that we can create even better results with our clients, so that we can go even deeper with our clients, so that our work can be even more transformational. Because that's when we get the happiest clients. That's when our clients re-sign over and over and over again. That's when they send us referrals. And that's also when we feel the most confident and satisfied in our work, when we're delivering incredible results. I've been coaching, facilitating, mentoring, and guiding others for nearly 20 years now, as well as I've trained hundreds of coaches and facilitators, and I've just seen this to be true over and over and over again. The better that we are with our skills, the more deep we go with our skills, the more happy everyone is all around. So if you agree with me on this, let me know. Drop me a comment, thumbs up, a heart. You know that it's so important for us to really deliver the highest quality skills that we can. Now, I want to talk today about listening skills. And you might think that listening skills is not advanced work, but it's actually incredibly advanced work when you're doing it the right way. And the truth is that most coaches know how to listen very, very, very well, but they don't know how to listen masterfully. And there's a difference between listening well and listening masterfully. And that's what I want to really talk about today. I consider listening to be one of what I call the 4 coaching power skills. And these 4 coaching power skills, deep listening being one of them, is the foundation of everything else fancy that you do when you're coaching and when you're working on transformation with your clients. There are different levels to your listening skills, and you don't just want to stop at the basics. You want to keep on getting into the layers. And I know some of the people that are watching now, I know some of you are seasoned coaches and seasoned practitioners. Kudos to you. If you're new and you're listening to this, kudos to you. But even more kudos to you if you're seasoned and listening to this, because you know the importance of going deeper and becoming more masterful. When you can really activate masterful and deep listening skills, you're able to hear 3 layers beneath the surface. You hear the true meaning beneath the words that your clients share. And because you're able to hear those 3 layers deep, that's when you stop wasting time and you're able to move your clients towards results way more quickly. When you have masterful listening skills, you're able to accurately read verbal and nonverbal cues to avoid confusion and frustration. When you have those masterful and deep listening skills, you can know exactly how to detect what's not being said by your client so that you can get to the core issue more powerfully and way more directly. When you've got those listening skills, you can detect when clients lie to themselves. And clients do this a lot, right? We all know this as human beings. We lie to ourselves a lot. When you're a coach that has deep listening skills, you'll know when your clients are lying to themselves, and you'll know exactly what to do when this happens. And then not to mention, when you've got the deep listening skills, then you can do all the fancier stuff like working with shadow, rewiring negative thought patterns, befriending fears, all of that. My clients are always kind of blown away that after just a short conversation with me, they sometimes feel like I know them better than they know themselves, and that I can see their blocks, their fears, their deepest desires, their strengths, where they're hiding from themselves. And all of this is because of listening skills. When you've got those listening skills, your clients can feel so held, so seen, and so loved. So I want to share with you today just a few tools and tips out of the dozens that I share when I formally train on listening skills. And these tools and tips that I'm going to share will up-level anyone's skills. Even if you've been an amazing practitioner for decades, if you take what I'm about to share seriously, you'll see a lot will change, and you can start using what I'm sharing with you today right away. They'll make a massive difference in your sessions. So here's the first piece that I really want you to think about. Listening masterfully means being able to listen to yourself as well as to your client, and to know the difference between the two. I'm going to say that again and write it down. Listening masterfully means being able to listen to yourself as well as to your client, and to know the difference between the two. That's where it can get tricky, and let me share a little bit more about this. So we all know that listening means listening to our clients, listening to the ideas that they share, the situations, the fears, listening to all the different layers that they bring out. But truly masterful listening means that you can clearly, effectively, and quickly also listen to yourself as your client is speaking. When you're listening at your most optimal, your listening is actually a sacred dance between hearing your client and hearing yourself, hearing your own internal responses when a client is sharing an important piece of information, hearing your own inner wisdom, your own inner knowing, your own intuition that comes up as you listen to your clients. When you can listen to yourself while listening to your client, it will help you uncover client obstacles way more quickly, reach aligned solutions way more quickly, and get deeper, just get way deeper into the motivation and inspiration for your clients, which ultimately means quicker results. But of course, and here's the important part, this sacred dance between listening to your clients and listening to yourself, your own inner wisdom, isn't so easy to achieve. And a lot of coaches and practitioners run into some big obstacles in this one. So I want to talk more about how to not run into those obstacles. There are a few keys that you need to be able to do so that that sacred dance of listening to your clients while listening to yourself is actually effective. And here are those keys. You can write them down. Number one, this one is kind of obvious, but listen to the layers in this one. Activate your intuition and your curiosity. Now you might be thinking, well, of course, I'm always going to activate my intuition and my curiosity, but it's not so easy to do all of the time, and here's why. For most of us, our deepest ability to be curious was cut off when we were really young, when we were at some point in our lives, we were very, very open, very curious, like the young maiden who's curious and excited and open to everything. And then events in our life, things our parents said, things, happened, cut some of that curiosity away, and then we get jaded, right? We've all gotten a little jaded, and then we're not as open as we can be, and then our curiosity gets buried under history because it wasn't always so safe for us to be curious. So when we're coaching and when we're listening masterfully, part of our job is to do the inner work so that we can fully open up and activate that curiosity. And by the way, same for our clients, which is why it's so important for us as practitioners to be open and curious, because just like our curiosity in a way got buried under history, same goes for our clients. So we need to hold this for them, be curious for them, and then ultimately model this for our clients so that they can build that curiosity muscle for themselves. Okay, the second piece here, so that you can do that sacred dance of listening to yourself while listening to your client, you need to be willing to trust yourself. I know, another obvious one, but listen to this. So masterful coaching and masterful listening is about being bold. If you want to create better results with clients, you need to listen boldly and then act boldly. So when I say trust yourself, it goes along with this. So for example, you might be listening to a client, and as you're listening to her share maybe her plans for the next year, you might be listening to yourself too, and you might be here, I think she's playing smaller than she actually wants to. What she's sharing with me is not actually the biggest vision that she wants for herself. You need to be able to trust that and be bold with that, and that listen boldly, right, to what you're hearing inside of yourself so that you can then bring it to your client. Or let's say a client is talking about a relationship, and your inner wisdom says to you, you know what? I don't think my client actually wants to be in this relationship anymore. That requires you trusting yourself. But here's the other important piece. Never trust yourself more than you trust your client. Never trust yourself more than you trust your client. So anything that you hear internally when you're doing that sacred dance of listening to the client and then listening to yourself, remember the client always knows best. So you want to listen, you want to activate that curiosity, you want to listen boldly, you want to trust yourself, but then you want to check in with the client to make sure that you're getting it right, or else you run the risk of guruing your client, right? You never want to do that. So always trust the client more. If you know what I'm talking about, give me a like, a heart, a comment where you've either been gurued, or maybe you've done that yourself in your practice, or maybe you've cut off your curiosity, and you haven't been bold enough to your own listening because of the pieces that I'm talking about right now. Now, here is the last piece I want to share just about this sacred dance so that you can listen to yourself. Oh yeah, a lot of people. I've seen a lot of hearts and likes, yeah. So here's the last piece just on this tool that I want to share with you right now so that you can really effectively be in that sacred dance of listening to clients while listening to yourself. This is one that I want you to write down, star, circle, underline. Know the difference between your reactions and your responses. And this goes to what I think somebody just made in the comments. So I'm going to say it again. Know the difference between your reactions and your responses. And I think April said, my mind always wants to rush to be the fixer. This is part of it. So when you're listening to yourself as a client is speaking, this is what you need to know. Your own reactions, your own triggers, your own fears, your own limiting beliefs might masquerade as inner wisdom or intuition. And that's not going to help, right? With your listening. Yeah, I see a lot of people can relate. So there's inner work here that's required for you as the coach so that you can be an incredible listener, an incredible coach. You need to know your own triggers so that when you're listening to your client and then that dance of listening to yourself, you know that you're listening cleanly and it's not coming from that triggered place, right? And so I'll just give you one simple example of this. I do a lot of business coaching and, let's say you're coaching a client on their business and they're sharing about a big campaign that they want to do. If you inside, you're listening to yourself as you're listening to her and you're like, no, she shouldn't do that campaign, right? I think it's too much for her. You need to ask yourself, is that true or is it just too much for me? Is it that I have fears about this campaign? Is it that I don't trust her? I'm not trusting her enough, or I don't trust myself, right? So you always want to be watching for that. We don't have time today to talk about listening filters, which I go into deeply when I do full training on listening, but that's the other piece here is you want to listen for filters. All right, so that's number one. Listen to yourself while you listen to your clients. And there's so many great comments. Yep, people taking notes to check in after. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And now I want to share with you the second tool for today. And this is one of my favorites. Simple one, but it's a good one. Listen for your client's inner voice. And let me explain what I mean by this. This is really important. So when you're listening masterfully, you don't want to just listen for what the client is sharing with you. There's so many things you want to listen for, fears, obstacles, all of that, but you want to listen for their inner voice. Now, as we all know, our inner voices are often, and when I say inner voice, let me tell you what I mean actually, the ways that we speak to ourselves. You want to listen for the ways, not just for the way the client speaks to you and shares about herself, but you want to listen subtly for her inner voice, for how she speaks to herself. This is so important because when we as coaches can get insight into our clients' inner voices, into how they speak to themselves, then the window has widened into understanding more about their fears, understanding more about their triggers, understanding more about their obstacles, understanding more about their limiting beliefs, understanding more about how they're hiding. And people can be sneaky, right? The way we present ourselves, even to our coaches, to our practitioners when we trust them, is not exactly, we may want to hide how we actually speak to ourselves, right? Because it can sometimes be so harsh. It can sometimes be so judgmental. And also sometimes clients themselves aren't even aware of their own inner voices. That's one of our jobs as coaches, is to help them become aware of that inner voice so that they can work with it. So it's really vital to be able to listen for it. And it can be hard to detect. Even if you're a masterful listener, it can actually be a little bit hard to detect your client's inner voice because of all of the sneakiness and because you're listening for the facts and, all the other things. But there are a couple of subtle clues that you can listen for to get the inner voice. And one of them is listen to how your clients ask questions. So when they're talking, when you're in a coaching session, every now and again, a client will ask a question. How they ask you a question oftentimes reveals, if a client says, why can't I ever get this right? She's sharing with you something didn't go so well. She's like, why can't I ever get this right? That's a clue to how she talks to herself. She's probably constantly saying to herself, I can't get it right. I can't get it right. Why can't I get it right? Versus a different client, same situation, might ask you the question, I wonder what didn't go right so that I can fix it. Can you help me identify that, right? Such a big difference between why can't I get it right versus I wonder what didn't go right this time. It says so much about that client's inner voice. So if this is resonating for you, let me know, heart, comment, let me know that you're with me on this and that this makes sense. I'd actually love to hear your thoughts on all of this. I can't wait to read through all the comments. I see that there have been a bunch. So I hope that you really enjoyed these just quickie listening tools. It looks like a lot of you did. I want to tell you about a couple of things. So first of all, if you want to go deeper with this, I'm going to be doing a full hour. It'll probably be longer than an hour because I talk so much. I'm going to be doing a full hour class next Thursday. It's free. It's called the 4 Power Coaching Skills. Listening skills is the first, right? So I'm going to be reviewing what I shared today about listening skills, and then I'll go deeper with listening and into the other 3 really important power coaching skills. And I'll pop the link to that in the comments below or somewhere, in this post so that you can register for that. It's next week and there'll also be a replay. And then be on the lookout. At the end of this month, I'm going to do a full 2.5-day virtual retreat on the power skills. We're going to go deep into, way deeper into listening skills. There's going to be a lot of interaction with me. We're going to be on Zoom. We're going to do a lot of practicing. I'm going to give you feedback on your listening skills, on your questioning skills, on your creating awareness skills, and so many others. So that's coming up soon. I'll let you know about that. But if you want more info on that, let me know. And thank you so much. It's so good to see people that I know and love here and new people. I can't wait to read through all the comments. Let me know what you're taking away, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.